Greetings everybody, this is Hocus back once again with another episode in the RambleSMP series. This is season 2, episode number 10. We're now in double figures. You love to see it. You love to see it. We kicked off today's episode with some non-verbal gameplay, no commentary. We had some footage from some resource collecting that I did, and then followed it up with a time-lapse of myself completing the underground bee thingy, and I have to say, oh baby, I love it. I really do love it. This is definitely one of my favorite builds that I've done in a while, if we consider functionality within the parameters, because like I say, never really worked with bees before, so it's great to have done something like this. Just popped outside because I had something else to show you guys before we get into the bulk of today's episode, and I noticed this guy. Now, it'd be really cool if we could capture him. Pick up the bone. Yes, all right. Now, all we need to do is create a little box for him to go into. All right, guys, that is actually a very, very nice thing to have done at the start of the episode, because that's going to be our first villager once we cure him. And then all we need is to get one more, and we can start breeding them. And that saves me having to transport them from, I don't know, say Amradorn's base. The rain has just dried up, which is perfect timing because we've got something going on in the shop. Now, BW was here whilst I was recording the time-lapse. He needed some wool. So he has spent 8 diamonds and has taken 8 stacks, which I haven't checked the stocks of the wool farm, but I'm sure that would have been a nice big hit to it. Aside from that, though, no other sales in the shop to report on. Okay then, so the agenda for today. Now, I think that at the moment we have 2 very big problems here at Station Alpha. And one of them is this animal pen right here. Now, I want to keep the cows, but they are in the way and it looks terrible. We also have this monstrosity of a storage system outside of the mine, which again, I want to keep it because we need somewhere to store our items, but it looks absolutely horrendous. So today, what I am going to do is build a combined building that will solve both of those issues. Now, I think this guy might actually be in the way because I was planning to use this space right here to build the building. But what I want to do is build a barn and a warehouse, but I want to connect them and have the path run between the two of them and have sort of like an archway over the path. And I've got this grand idea in my head. I really hope it comes into fruition, because if it does, I think it'll look pretty cool. But we've got a little bit of preparation to do, because I first of all need to figure out where we're going to build it, and that might involve tearing down a few things, maybe moving our zombie over here. But we'll get that done off camera. Not bad at all. I haven't actually had to remove anything. Instead, what I've done is extend this central path in this direction towards the cactus, and I've kind of just laid out the walls of these 2 buildings. So this will be the barn right here, and on this side we're going to have the warehouse, which is going to be much larger because we just want to basically have a bunch of chests in there so that we can store all of our items away nice and neatly. From here, there's not much else to do but come up with a design for the walls here. So I think what I'll do is I'll just get one of these segments done, and then we can kind of just transition that to the rest of the build through a time lapse. And then once we're done erecting the walls, we will hash out a roof design, and then again we'll probably jump back into a time lapse for the roof, and hopefully by the end of all of that we should have somewhere to store our items and somewhere to keep a few animals. Got a little something going here. So on the left side, like I say, this is going to be the warehouse, the storage area. I've created 2 designs. This one's going to be the entrance design. So to get into the warehouse, we'll use the little gate there. And then for all of the walls that won't be access points, we're just going to have something like this. So I might move those around eventually. I don't know if this is going to be where the entrance remains or not. We will see as time progresses. On the other side, the barn, I've kind of just gone and laid out one of the pens. It's going to be, again, really simple stuff. Probably have some fences across the front with a little gate right there, something like that. And then I've just decided to go for some trapdoors at the back, just for something different. And then that also gives us a little bit of variance on the outside as well. Again, some of this might change. I might even move the trapdoors into the inside of the block so that it looks better from the outside. who knows? We'll see as the time-lapse goes on. But I'm going to kick things off over here at the warehouse. So let's jump right in to the time-lapse. I just recorded a clip and my microphone wasn't working. So what has happened is that I began this video this morning around like 9 a.m. and then I had a few other things to do. And when I got back, which it's now about 12 hours later, it's about 9 p.m., one of those Illager Raider party guys was still here, and I was kind of surprised by that. He must have had a grudge against me or something. Anyway, footage was ruined because my voice was not picked up by the microphone. So frustrating. But anyway, what I said was I probably should have gone a little bit further in the time lapse. We didn't actually do all that much. We've just got the first layer of the wall done, but it looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with it so far. Next up, I am probably just going to go ahead and complete the barn, because what's going to happen is there's going to be like a transition of roofs. So this barn roof is going to be low, and then the archway over the path is going to be a little bit higher. And then the warehouse ceiling, or roof, sorry, is going to be the highest. So it's going to transition from right to left, or left to right if you're still on the other side, from low, medium to high. So what we'll probably do here is we've got this main piece of wall that's about 5 blocks high. I'm thinking we'll probably go up by like another 3, maybe 4 blocks, have another little segment above this segment, and hopefully that'll be tall enough. But like I say, let's jump into another time lapse and get the barn done. Welcome back to the future viewer, in a world that is now populated with a barn. And although this isn't the most extraordinary build, I think it turned out pretty well. I added only one more detail post time-lapse, and that was this here. There was a gap above the trapdoors. It looked kind of strange, so I added another slab in just to make sure that that gap no longer exists. Now, we will need to add a few more details to this build, something that I'm going to hash out probably off camera later on, because once we're done with this build, I want to do a little bit of terraforming in the area to make it look nicer. So we'll probably include that in the terraforming, as well as any other details that I think about whilst building here. But next up is probably going to be the completion of the warehouse. That would probably be a good idea. So again, we're going to jump into a time lapse in just a second. But before we do that, I do need to figure out what we're going to do, because I do want to extend the walls up a little bit and then get another roof on similar to this. And like I say, in the end, we should have 3 conjoined buildings that all come together to provide things that we've needed for a while now. Are you bored yet? Are you bored of time lapses yet? Are you bored yet? This video is designed to bore you. No more time lapses after today for you, because you will be bored. You're bored, right? Well, I guess once again, we probably could have gone a little bit further than we did with the time lapse, but I got to this stage here, and my brain wasn't functioning properly. Generally, I can visualize where a build needs to go, and then work from that visualization. I couldn't. This time I couldn't. So I thought, you know what? Instead of making a potentially janky time-lapse, I'll just cut the time-lapse there. We've made enough progress, and I'll take care of the rest of the build off camera. Plus, like I was joking around, you guys might be getting a little bit sick and tired of the old time lapses. It's been quite a few in this episode already, but I have a lot of fun making them actually. Like I mentioned a few episodes ago, only kind of getting my bearings with the replay mod recently. And now that I'm getting the hang of things, it's been really fun making these time lapses. So I enjoy them. Hopefully you guys do too. Let me know down in the comments below, of course, about all that. But yeah, I'll probably bring you back in just a moment once we're done finishing up this section and the back section, because then we need to decide how we're going to lay out our storage on the inside of this warehouse. Yes, there it is. It has been visualized. It has been brought to life, and I am happy with how it turned out. So I've replicated this on the other side of the build, and I also went ahead and built the roof over the path as well. So this is what I was kind of getting at when I was describing it earlier. We've got a low roof, a mid roof, and then, wow, this thing is astronomical. But that is okay because I do like it. It's working out well. And from the back, like I say, very much the same. Now, we could probably take a quick aerial view. Wow. This thing is, I don't want to say monstrosity because that generally has a negative connotation, but it is a bit of a monstrosity, isn't it? It's humongous. And I think, yeah, it towers over even the cactus farm. So I think the tallest building may still be the tower, but in terms of just general girth and size and mightiness, the warehouse now trumps everything. This is how we'll be formatting the chests in this warehouse. And to be honest, guys, this little segment here will probably hold everything that I own at the moment. So we're not in any rush to fill this room with chests. I think this will do for now. You can see that the floor, I've added some coarse dirt for the time being. I think that looks pretty good. I quite like the use of coarse dirt in areas like this, storage areas. I don't know why. I feel like it just fits. It's nice. Anyhow, what you can do with this system is there are, of course, 12 double chests at the bottom. And then if you want to access the upper layer, just climb up the scaffolding. And then there are 9 more double chests at the top, which we will label as we fill them. So we can keep track of where things are. Then over here at the barn, you can see I've added some flooring into each of the stables. And I've also moved this guy into one of the pens. He's going to live there for now, just so that he's not causing anybody any harm. But I also figured that we could rehome Cinnamon here, who doesn't actually fit through the gates. That's always a good time. Let's perhaps open it up, get off, and seal Cinnamon in so that she has a nicer home than living in a little hole in the ground. Cinnamon's issue with accessing the stable should be fixed. I just added an extra couple of fence gates in, so now you can open multiple instead of just one. So 1, a horse doesn't fit through, but 2, a horse is able to fit through. So that solves the issue. And then one more quick thing over here. I just wanted to show you the labeling convention that I'm going to use. So if you apply an item frame and a sign to the same block, you can actually use both in tandem. So I've got a stone block inside of an item frame, and then above the stone block texture or entity, I've written stone blocks on the sign. So if you use that very top line, you can have both text and the item entity to describe the contents of a chest. So inside of this one, I've got all of my stone blocks, and I'm going to try to stick to that for all of the chests in the room. So hopefully I never have to write anything that's more than 1 line long on a sign. I'm just about preparing here to jump into another time lapse because I want to do a bit of terraforming. Got my dirt ready. Need to shape the land because it looks absolutely disgusting at the moment. But I noticed that somebody has nicked my door. I had a spruce door right here, right? Somebody's nicked it. What would they want with a spruce door? I mean, fortunately, I've got a couple replacements in here, but I'm sure that someone's up to some sort of shenanigans. I'm not really understanding why else you would steal a spruce door. Cinnamon! Your head! Do you guys know what's funny about that last time lapse? I've been going on all episode about wanting to do some terraforming, and in fact, I spent the majority of the time lapse building this wall and other walls, and essentially all that those walls do is prevent me from having to do any terraforming. So I've just divided the land, the difference in terrain heights, by using a wall, which, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic way to do such things, but it's funny that we went on about doing some terraforming, and in the end I kind of just bailed out of it by building walls instead. But nevertheless, it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good, and I suppose I did do a little bit of terraforming. I tried to blend this area into the natural terrain, which I'm sort of torn on it because it doesn't look natural at all. Like, this isn't how terrain generates in Minecraft, really. But I was thinking that maybe what we could do is just replace a little bit of the bottom with stone and blend it in a little bit more at the bottom. It'll work eventually. It's no big deal. And then, of course, we did build this little path around the back of the shop, which, again, is not too bad. Links back up with everything else. We altered this pathway, which now takes a slightly different route and links up here so that you can connect with the path that runs around the backside of the warehouse, and also the path that runs through the middle of the warehouse and the barn. And yeah, all in all, I think so far we're making good progress. But there was one other thing that I did want to give a little bit of a test run to, and that was trying to incorporate some moss. Now, moss, I really enjoy the way moss works in the game. So if we take out these leaves here, they will go back eventually. What we'll do is we'll pop down some moss instead, and we'll just have the moss kind of do its thing. And we'll tear out anything that it produces, like so, and replace it with leaves. And I think that essentially moss could be a better alternative to grass, because you can get this kind of grass on it too. So maybe let's try it some more over here. All right, now each time it's going to hopefully give us a little bit of something different in regards to the azalea spawns. And we'll go with something like that maybe. Is that what we had? I think maybe we actually had that. And then again, let's try get a little bit of grass at the front here. So it's giving us a carpet. It's not giving us anything. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, moss definitely could be an idea instead of just using grass and tall grass, because as Endavar said when he was terraforming his area over there, we haven't really got that nice of a grass texture in this region. It's a little bit nasty, isn't it? So maybe this right here would be a good test for the moss, actually, this small confined area. Yeah, see, that could totally work. And then I would even be tempted as well to grow out some of these azaleas into trees just for a bit more greenery. Yeah, you know what? I think that's going to be the way we progress forward. I really like that, because it not only gives you the tall grass, but it gives you a nice vibrancy with the moss. You also get some extra layers of carpet, which always look good. Some azalea in there as well. No! Okay, I hadn't really thought about that, but that is something we have to consider. It's going to spread to some of the stone blocks that we've used on the wall, so we need to be slightly careful about where it goes, but there it is as well. But I do think it would be a good idea to spread moss around the area as opposed to using the natural grass. All right then, everybody, that is where we're going to wrap things up for this episode on the RambleSMP server, because I'm not feeling the greatest right now. You can probably tell in my voice in this clip and the last clip that it's starting to change a little bit, not doing so well. So I think not only have we spent a lot of time on this episode, but I just need to close it off now before things get any worse. So thank you once again for being here with me for this episode. I really do appreciate it, guys. All of the support is fantastic. And the fact that you take time out of your day to come to my channel and watch my videos is mind-boggling. So thank you once again for that. Please make sure to stay safe and take care. And until the next episode, bye for now.